Hello, Psycho Fitness with Juma here, and today in this episode, I'd like to talk about matters human sexuality. Now, you've probably seen a young girl or a young boy. For instance, let's talk about a girl who takes a piece when they are standing, or a boy who squats when they are taking a piece, and vice versa. So, in my country, sometimes they might get punished for doing that. You are a lady. Why are you standing when you are taking a piece? You're supposed to squat. Or you are a boy, so you need to actually just hold it and direct it to where it's supposed to be. And also, you might find a young girl who is probably 4 years, 3 years, 7 or whatever, with that childhood age, who is very discontent with the kind of dressing assigned to their sex or their gender. So a lady who likes dressing in male, attire. And also parents might sometimes not understand why this happens, but that is why today I want to talk about this condition called identity dysphoria. Identity dysphoria, which was also referred to as the sexual identity disorder by the DSM Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of the 1994. In the revised edition of this DSM, this condition was later referred to as identity dysphoria. And it simply means discontent. Persons with identity dysphoria have a discontent attitude with the sex assigned gender that they were given at birth. So ladies or young girls who feel that they don't belong to the girl-child gender, or boys who don't feel like they don't belong to the boy-child gender identity. Now, this is what we call identity dysphoria. I also have to reiterate that identity dysphoria is not a mental disorder as much as it is classified in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual for Mental Health Disorders. Now, the causes of identity dysphoria are not pretty known. People or scientists haven't yet identified reasons as to why people or children or even adults, because the people grow up with this kind of identity situation into adulthood. And I think in some videos you've seen people trying to change their outlook. If you watch some of these YouTube videos where people are doing surgeries and all that just to move from one side of the gender to the other, and the people don't understand why this happens. Now, the reason I was talking about these videos is because one of the major cases that I've received in my practice are young girls or boys who are struggling with this condition, and parents don't seem to understand what happens with these people, and so they think that they are sick in some sort of way, or they are not normal in some sort of way. Well, also to mention in this is just that identity dysphoria does not mean that somebody is gay, lesbian, or the LGBTQIA concept of sexual identity. Because I'm not contented by being a man or being a girl doesn't mean that I am gay or that I am lesbian. The identity dysphoria has nothing to do with sexual preferences. This is an isolated aspect on its own, and it presents with symptoms. How do you tell that somebody is probably undergoing this specific condition? One, as I started by saying, you might find young girls trying to avoid the gender roles that have been assigned to their gender, and they tend to dominate on the roles assigned to the boys, and vice versa. So boys also experience some of the things, some of this. The other way you can tell is someone might look at their genitals or their genitalia and completely feel embarrassed or disgusted by just the look at it. They look at them themselves, and a young girl will come and ask the mom, why don't I have, a penis? Or they'll use the word that they've been taught at home to call their various organs. They'll always ask, and they'll sometimes tell you, Mimi, or me, I want that. Why do I have this? And he has that. I think I want that. And also, even the dressing, persons with identity dysphoria might tend to dress like the opposite sex. So you take them for shopping, maybe you want to refill the wardrobe, and when you're doing this shopping, they are more focused on the opposite gender clothing than they are on their own. Also, when they get to puberty, they tend to be very uncomfortable and disgusted by the changes that they experience as they grow. Maybe a young man starts seeing muscles and all that, and they feel this is not supposed to be my body. I am not supposed to be looking like this. So they tend to do some sort of makeup or something. They just don't feel contented in the body that they're in. And for ladies also, when their private parts start showing, their breasts are enlarging and all that, they really feel uncomfortable in that body. And what this leads to is some sort of, stress, anxiety. They might start isolating. They feel depressed and all that. Now, back to the main reason why I was making this video. This is a challenge, and I've seen it. I've seen it in Kenya. It's there. In Nairobi, it's there. And parents get confused. Some parents tend to punish their children because they don't want to identify, or they don't feel comfortable identifying as they are. But this is something that is there, and it is classified. It's a condition. And the best thing to do in an instance where you have a kid who is going through such an experience is not by punishing them or by telling them to be normal. They are normal, okay? Look or seek therapy for somebody who understands what this particular child is going through, and get them the help they need. Do not punish them. Do not make them look special. Do not specialize them in your category of kids and say, you know what, I do have a special kid, a special daughter who feels like he's a boy. And as I've said, identity dysphoria doesn't mean your daughter is gay. As much as your daughter wants to identify with the male characteristics and behaviors, that doesn't mean she's lesbian. And sexual identity in terms of preferences, that is a different topic that we're going to talk about very soon. But for this video, I just want you to understand that identity dysphoria is an aspect that is there, and it's affecting a lot of people, or at least the people that are going through this process. And the best thing to do to such a person who is to seek help, you can always give us a call on the number below so that we can help. And when you bring, or when you seek help for persons with identity dysphoria, it doesn't mean that the therapist or the psychiatrist is going to change their mindset from feeling the way they feel and make them behave more like a lady. They are just gonna make the, psychological implications that this condition brings upon this particular patient or client lessen. Because people with identity dysphoria also tend to be more suicidal. Coping with this condition is not easy, especially when you're going through it. And persons tend to be so depressed, and that's why they isolate, they get anxious, and they also become suicidal. So when you have an individual who is going through this condition, the best approach is to seek help from a professional who understands matters mental health, matters sexual identity, and also help deal with the psychological implications that this condition has had on the specific child or adult. But we shouldn't stigmatize or scold or abuse or punish, especially for children, because themselves they don't understand what's going on with them. They were assigned the vagina or the penis, and all that comes with the female gender, but they didn't, in their mind, they don't feel comfortable being in that body. So find somebody who's gonna explain to them what's happening with them, and is also gonna lessen the, implications that this thing is having or placing upon their social, psychological, academic, and work life. And with that, I hope somebody has learned something on this video. You can hit that subscribe button, click on the notification bell for more of these lessons and these sessions, so you can always get updated and know what to do matters mental health and fitness. Thank you, and see you on the next video, or as to put it, see me on the next video.